Hi
Okay.
everyone, it's Agnes. I am here with Darren Benjamin. Hello Darren.
Hi, Agnes. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Very well, thanks. I'm good. Really good.
I've invited Darren today to do a meaningful work interview for you. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of background about Darren, how we met. Darren and I only met recently. I hopped on Insight Timer, the app, which I will put a link to down below. And it's a great little app for all sorts of different things. Darren was playing the piano and I joined in on a live session at the end of my day to relax. And Darren was playing the piano. So Darren, can you tell us a little bit about, because where we met, can you talk a little bit about that first? Because it's a really good little app for people that like to do all sorts of stuff.
Okay, yeah. Insight Timer. It's an app that I found that allowed me to actually upload the content, or so to say, the work that I've been uploading to my YouTube channel, and just extend my platform to people who were coming. You see, obviously with YouTube, you've got people coming to YouTube with various different things, but with Insight Timer, people are coming there for something specific: sleep music, meditation music, stress relief. I thought, oh wow, this is great. So I had this catalog of music, and I guess since late last year, I've just been uploading that. And you saw me on a live stream, and they invited myself, I think, along with maybe 139 others, to be part of their new streaming part of the platform. And so I said, yeah, I will make it piano based and play some piano on the live streams, and invite people to obviously follow me on there, and they can see the YouTube link on there or whatever, but just to check out the work and a little bit about what I do. And I guess you were one of the people that checked it out that evening. So yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And I do think a lot of people love joining in live, and also sometimes at the last minute, like, oh, I feel a bit stressed and I just need to relax. And you know, I'd been working all day on a computer, and I thought, right, I want to just stretch out on the couch. And, you know, I saw you were playing piano and I thought, oh, lovely. And I hopped in, and, you know, that platform does a lot of relaxation, a lot of self-help, a lot of yoga, a lot of meditation.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I contacted you because you talked a little bit about some things at the end, and, you know, and I thought, oh, this guy really loves what he does. And I had that thought, I love interviewing people that do meaningful work in all sorts of different capacities. And also, especially my favorite is creative, meaningful work.
Yeah.
So let's go back a little bit to where this all began for you. Where did this meaningful work first begin around music? And because you do other stuff, which we'll talk about after that. Where did this begin?
So are we talking about where it began in terms of music, or where it began in terms of meaningful work? That's, I guess, when I started.
Good question.
Yeah.
Which came first?
Oh, it's got to be just the music. Yeah.
Let's start with that.
Yeah. So I basically started playing the piano at a very young age. We had a piano in my house. We also had a friend of the family that gave classical piano lessons. But at the same time, my father, being a minister, needed someone to play piano at church. So I just got forced into it at the age of 7 or 8, young age. You got to play at church. You're going to take lessons to, learn about technique and harmony and everything. But at the same time, you're going to be playing piano in church. And that wasn't a choice, that was a decision. Yeah. And what turned out to be mandatory, in the end, it was something that has grown into be my identity, you know. So yeah, it started from there, from the age of 7, 8, playing in church. And it's so funny that the work I do now, you think of things like creating moods, whether that be for sleep music or meditation or whatever. the training for that, the natural training for that really begun in church, because essentially you think about not your typical kind of Catholic church with an organist, but you know, you think about maybe a piano at a church and you've got 30 to 40 chairs. You're there playing the piano, someone says just play, because people are walking in. You've got to create an atmosphere, and it's not a lively atmosphere, it's an atmosphere to make people reflect. So that, but I'm doing the same thing now. So it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, some years later, and then okay, as technology develops and you know, I'm getting into my teens, I'm getting into keyboards, so now we're dealing with ambient sounds and ambient music. So again, it's the same thing. You're moving away from a wooden piano onto strings and atmospheric pads, but you're still creating the same thing. That's just one side of playing in church, but you get what I'm saying. Is if we're looking at the relationship between sleep music and meditation music and music that you can relax to, the natural training started there, you know, just to perform, just to be spontaneous, to have enough music about you and enough about you to play and to create an atmosphere that's conducive to worship, as they say, or reflection, or a time to you know, rejoice, whatever, you know. But you can't find a university or college that can teach you that. You know, you get thrown in at the deep end and you just got to sink or swim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot to say, you and I worked out that we were both in London just by chance. I mean, you could have been anywhere and I could have been anywhere, but we were both in London.
London.
And like it was just, again, another one of those things. Can you tell the people, because I always love asking people what their cultural background is and where they were born, because it's always of interest.
Sure.
So where are you? Yeah.
So I'm born here in London. My cultural background, my parents are born in the were born in the West Indies, in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So they didn't meet each other there though. They met each other over here. Came over at different times.
Okay.
You would argue and say that my dad, I think my dad came first. He was part of that. I wouldn't say first generation, or just the late part of the generation of Windrush that came over in the 60s and to help build the country. He wasn't part of that first, but obviously that we're talking about 1940. I think my dad was born in the 1940s. So, you know, late 50s, 60s, coming over and meeting my mum over here in the community of other West Indians, and then forming a family and being still married now for 50 plus years. Wow. So I'm one of four, the last of four.
Yep.
Big age gap between me and my older sibling, funny enough.
Okay.
13-year age gap between me and the other siblings. So I was a late decision. I don't even want to say decision, late surprise. Late surprise. So yeah.
Right. So London is such a melting pot of it is just incredible, the nationalities and the cultures, and everybody just all blends in. And you know, I do love that about London, the food, the people, the cultures, the different grocery stores from all, you know, you can go into the little Turkish shop, the little Bulgarian shop.
Yeah, you got Portuguese.
It's so great.
So many, it's lovely.
Brilliant. So, okay, so that was the background. When did the meaningful work start to kick in?
Well, I think 2014, 2015, because, you know, I've been doing music throughout my life, took a little bit of a backseat from live playing and thought, I really want to get into writing music. I spent a lot of time in live playing, doing music in theatre, which was storytelling. Yeah. And so I was really figuring out a way of working into that that way of working where you can write music but based on stories, just be telling stories. So I think 2015 was the first time I made a conscious decision, right, to say, okay, as I've seen myself as a musician, I am a composer first. I am a writer of music. Yeah. And the production along with that. I was doing it before, but it was always background to you know, playing live and touring the world. So I would say 2014, 2015 was really where I made that conscious decision.
Yeah. And then you hopped into, like, were you working jobs before and then you hopped into working for yourself?
Yeah, so it was a case of doing a number of different things, but I said, okay, right, it's going to be a decision where it's just going to be this and this alone. So, you know, you take up other jobs, but I mean, I don't know for any of our listeners, but if you're going, it's so difficult because you don't know people's situation, but there's nothing like finding your passion and working in that field. Doesn't matter about the level of income. That can obviously change, and you can obviously aspire to different levels of income.
Yeah.
But it's important to find a job that's not soul destroying, because you can have a number of, you know, jobs. Let's say like an office job, and you're sitting at the office. I mean, this looks like an office, but obviously it's a studio. But you're sitting at that office and you want to really be doing something else. It's so important to try and find a way to get into what it is you love, or you, I cannot tell you the moments leading up to that about, you know, sort of doing office work or some kind of job that wasn't music related was soul destroying. You know, you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, what on earth is, you know, I mean, that's just me, and you know, everyone's different, but
yeah,
I guess there comes a point where you have to make a decision, and it helps actually because I had a coach at the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
what, like a business coach?
Like just a life coach, just making making the right decisions, and listening to the signs that are in your life, and I followed that path ever since.
Yeah, that's great. It's such a big kind of scary jump at first.
Yeah.
Because you're not working those regular hours, you're not sort of in that normal zone anymore.
Yeah.
And it is quite you kind of go, oh, now it's just me, it's on me, it's on me, it's on me. And that first sort of year to 2 years, I think, is quite scary.
Yeah, I mean, I almost made a hidden. I tried to hide the pain of it in the first few months by going out to LA. I was in LA for about 2-3 months and making contacts out there. And because LA is really nice and sunny and making lots of contacts, a house sharing with other people and stuff, you know, you know, there's not really a reality that hits you yet. And it's like, all right, you're in this. You really got to, you know, you really got to work. You got to open some doors. And then everyone in LA is like, yeah, sure, come on, let's do some stuff together. But might not necessarily be no money in it at this stage, but you know, you just doing stuff, and it felt good. And then when I came back to London, you know, the grafting really had to continue without the sunshine.
Without the sunshine.
Without the sunshine. So you know,
I have to say I get more work done when I'm in London than I do when I'm in Sydney, because for that very reason.
The sun, you know, it's like you don't want to be indoors for too long. It's like, let's go and have a margie, you know. Everyone likes happy hour in LA. It's like, let's drink, you know, and then before you know, you're out for a number of hours. So
it's true. The environment does definitely impact the results of ours, but it's such an interesting journey. What do you think when you look at it from kind of introspective point of view? What did you have to overcome in your own self? Was it fear of failure or fear of success, or was there any of that going on at that time?
Failure, probably, because you're trying to move away from something that's secure to go to something that's not sure. And there are aspects about music and what we do that are secure, but it's still an element of risk to it. And so, I think it was failure. And inside of that, when moving into where I'm now, when trying a new venture inside music, it's definitely fear of success.
Yeah.
Definitely. You create something and you think, oh, what if this becomes big? And the reason why it's you fear being successful. It's not what comes with it, but when you produce a piece of music or write a piece of music, you're basically sharing a piece of yourself with God. You know, so whether that's for a film or TV production or just a piece of music that you release, you have to be bold enough to say, I expect potentially, 1 million people could see this, 10 million, or just 5. But the point is, whoever is seeing it you are going to be revealing a part of yourself.
Yes.
So, and that can make you feel very vulnerable.
For sure. I think too, like when you are doing creative stuff, you got to get to the point where you go, you know what, not everybody's going to like this, and I don't need everybody to like me. And you get sort of, when you first take a criticism or you take a hit where someone says something really negative about you, whew, that's a hit. But over time you go, you know what, I don't like everything. It's not personal. That person just doesn't like my style. It doesn't like the way I do things, but who cares? These people do. And you just go, well, I'm doing this because I enjoy it. I'm doing this because it's fun. And I'll connect with my flock of like-minded people. Just like you and I connected. It's like we're a similar flock because we both like music. We both like to be in that nice, calm space. We enjoy creative things. So it was like I was drawn to you. It was the presence of you. It wasn't just you playing the piano. There was something about you that drew me in. So it's like you get sort of vibrational, energetic attraction to certain people, and my flock is always the creatives that are calm, and I love those type of people. They're comfortable, like a nice worn-in old t-shirt, comfortable.
Wow.
And it was like when you were playing the piano, I thought, the music is beautiful, but the presence of this person, I'm drawn to that too. So that's why I contacted you, because it's a wonderful thing.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So there you go. You didn't know that till now.
No. I mean, whether it's live playing, and I do less live playing now. Really through Insight time, whether writing or playing live, it's all about intention for me. And I'm glad that seemed to come across.
It did. And because it's a real package deal, isn't it?
It's either all or nothing, isn't it? Yeah.
So I had a little bit of a look at some stuff of what you've done, and you did some stuff, like you said, for the BBC, and you did some stuff for some ads, and so can you talk a bit about that part of the composing that you do for those sorts of things?
Yeah, sure. So it's essentially the move into meaningful work has always been headlined with composer for film, TV, and media. So I've done a few projects, short films. I've done an ad. When Deliveroo was first being launched, I was working with a director to write the music for one of their advertisements, and that went down really well. They're a massive company now, and did
you say Deliveroo?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one of my showreels on my website. So I've done that, and it's all coming back through networking. Just networking, really. Old-fashioned meeting people and someone recommending you. A lot of the short film stuff. Some music that I've written for a musical, actually, which is not on my website. I did some stuff for Stratford Theatre, which was before 2015, actually, but these were the signs of moving into writing and being known for that. It was a Christmas pantomime by the name of Hansel and Gretel. I did a lot of the music for that. That was pretty cool, and I've had contacts from there doing some other stuff. Recently, my music has been, I wrote a piece of music which is used every year along with a company in South London, actually. It's run by a guy by the name of Bradley Hemmings, and they asked me to, along with a playwright by the name of Roy Williams, write some music for the Windrush celebration.
Okay.
Put some interviews along with what it meant for some of the people that are still alive from that first generation coming over to the UK looking for work. Yeah, what Windrush means to them. So that was fantastic, because I've got so many relatives that have been a part of that, and so I was able to put my, heart and soul into that. So that was that was really cool, and it was showcased at the Greenwich Cutty Sark. You familiar with Greenwich at all? Yeah, there's a Cutty Sark, an old ship in Greenwich, where the performance took place on the same day, actually. The anniversary, 70th anniversary of Windrush. That was a few years ago. So I've done that, and I've done some other things like submitted music to publishers, and I've just been busy working and continuing to add strings to my bow around writing music.
Beautiful.
Yeah, recently as well, just done a short film that is now on Amazon Prime with a really, really talented director by the name of Jordan Pitt.
Yeah.
You can see it's called What Would You Do? I did the music for that. That was some fun. It's won a few awards as well. So
cool. We'll put the links to all that stuff down below, because it's nice when people can go and look at certain things, and it's creatively. Well, it's creative success doing all these bits and pieces over the years. It's portfolio.
That's exactly what it is. So the writing of music never stops.
Yeah.
It never stops. There's always something happening, always something to aspire to. There's always when I'm quiet and there's not a lot of stuff happening, I'm submitting music to my publisher. That potentially could be sung to more advertisements or things for media. So
you've got some. Is it like an agent? You're saying the publisher, is that the person you?
So the publisher is different from an agent. So the publishing company that I'm with is a company called Sync Tracks, based in Tottenham Court Road. So I submit music to them for sync. So syncing for, let's say, for example, you're watching an advertisement on television, or it might be the news or something that requires a short piece to be sung, or for your music to be licensed. That's something that's different from an agent. An agent now is someone that represents you in terms of work for film and television. So should you have a film coming up, or you be involved in a TV series, they would represent you and put a deal in place to make sure that you're paid accordingly, and also the back ends that you receive once your stuff is on TV, the royalties and so forth, they would be ensuring that that's in place for you. So that's the work that an agent it's almost like representation.
Do you find you get more work where you're paid directly for the job and that's it, or you get more work where you get reoccurring royalties if something is being played again and again? How does that work?
That's interesting. So so the question is, you're saying if say that again. You said that.
Like say you did a job for, like, as you mentioned, you did something for the BBC, for example. So you submit your music, they get it, and then they use it again and again. Do they just pay you once for the job, or do they go, okay, we've used it 15 times this year, so we'll pay you the royalties for the 15 times? That
all depends on the deal, because you could have, let's say, for example, there are composers I know that's done work for the BBC. No actual upfront fee for doing the work, but guaranteeing that the rights for the show are going to be sold worldwide, meaning on broadcast and television, you're going to be receiving over the next 2 to 3 to 5 years a great deal of back end, which is your royalties.
So do you negotiate that in advance?
Well, your agent would, or you could. Some people don't use an agent, and if you've got the contacts in, and you're okay with doing it yourself. But if the agent negotiates that, then probably they might want a little percentage on the back end if they're going to negotiate that. So
I see.
But it just depends on the deal, doesn't it?
I know. With creative stuff, there's no kind of, okay, you always do this and you always do that. It's like it's a bit kind of a fuzzy target, as they say.
It's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. Because another thing is, let's say tomorrow I am going to be called to do a show that goes on Netflix. Now, the fee would be more front end heavy.
Yeah.
But there's not so much back end because it's a streaming platform.
I see.
So that's where the fees could differ. But maybe broadcasting for television, not so. You know, a production company could say, well, we can afford to not pay so much on the front end because we're sure that the rights for this show is going to be sold worldwide, you know, or whatever. You know, so, and then you'll be receiving a lot of back end because you can guarantee that BBC worldwide will sell it to America, to Australia, wherever, and every time that's played, the composer is going to be receiving royalties for that. So it all depends on the deal.
So you must get little surprises throughout the year of payments coming in from stuff you did, like
nothing TV based yet, but from sync tracks when they have stuff synced. You could. It could take a while, but sometimes you get a pleasant surprise. Sometimes it's small, sometimes it's a little bit bigger, but you know, you keep it going along with other stuff.
Yeah. It's funny. I remember when I was getting checks for royalties for the books that I wrote. But I realized one was so funny because I remember thinking, who still writes checks in 2019? Like it was just a weird transaction. But I realized too, I hadn't negotiated a very good deal because the publisher was keeping 85% and I was getting 15%. And I remember thinking, at the time, I knew nothing about writing books. I knew nothing about royalties. I knew nothing about anything. So I was like, oh, I'm just glad you want to take my books.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Then I pulled the plug on that pretty quickly. After about 3 years, when I got a bit more savvy, I got someone to pull me out of that.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think that a starting ground, and most publishing deals now, I don't know in terms of publishing for writing a book, but certainly as a composer, if you're doing an instrumental, or if you're for someone wants an album of instrumentals for a library, or if you're doing work for a film or a television show, the conversation starts at 50%.
Yeah, good. And that you can live with.
It's you know, so, and obviously I think I've said this to you before, I don't know who said this to you, but if your name's Jay-Z or Beyonce, then the conversation might start at 85-90%, or perhaps even we just want to buy out our rights. You know, so you know, and the more big you are as a pop artist, the more, you know, the more clients
you have.
Yeah, but as composers, who it's very important to see yourself as an artist. It starts from 50%. If you're the Hans Zimmers of this world, then you know you're a name, you're a household brand. So
fantastic.
Yeah,
it's really interesting, varied work, isn't it? Like it's never the same. It's never like, I'm sure you don't have 2 days where you're doing the same stuff, or it must be so interesting, especially when you're submitting to the person that's looking after you to put the work forward.
Yeah, to put the work forward, you know, always networking, looking for opportunities in the film and the television world, because you don't know who you can meet. A lot of people now, I'm at the stage where I'm looking for broadcasted work as a composer. So let's say, for example, someone has a short film and they want music to it. I wouldn't necessarily turn it down if it didn't have any money, because I can live without the money. I'm not living from paychecks. I've got other streams to do. But I would have a look at the quality of work, and I would say to myself, is this meaningful? As we're having discussion, are they doing meaningful work? Do I feel like this a conversation that I want to be a part of? And then I'll make the decision there, because you know the last thing you want to do is, because someone's doing a short film, and believe me, every big director started, or big producer started off doing short films.
Yeah.
You don't want to turn down something because there isn't any money involved. You want to be turning down something because it's not right for you, or at this stage it's not what you want to be doing.
I know. It's so good when you get to that position where your money's flowing in nicely and you can make
Yeah,
decisions on that.
yeah.
Feels so much better, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. And actually saying no to something feels good as well, because you
Yeah,
know it reaffirms who you are, what you're about, what you're doing.
yeah,
And even if someone is offering you money for something, it doesn't feel right, you know, I know exactly where I'm going. I know what I'm doing, and
yeah,
I'm patient. I'm patient with it. I know that you know, I want to acquire and do more TV work. So
yeah,
I'm patient around that thing, because there are so many other things in terms of
yeah,
writing music that's happening, and how we bumped into each other is one of them.
yeah.
Um, I did. It's funny because I said to people, no, I'm not interested in live work, but I've ended up doing live streaming on Inside Time. Well, why am I doing it? Because actually, it's significant in a sense that people that are coming there are actually connected either to your page,
Yeah.
or like, so they really want to see you in a live setting. It's almost
Yeah,
like
they
they come,
enjoyed it.
yeah, they
Yeah.
come to us a mini concert, you know, 100, 200 people to see you in a mini concert, and you know, the same stuff that gets uploaded to YouTube gets uploaded there.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
I never really understood the live thing because I find if I've hopped on YouTube live, like people really enjoy it, and I think, oh,
mm.
like why is that different to just hopping
it's
and watching a YouTube that someone did like 4 weeks ago?
it's
But
connected, isn't it? It's
yeah,
connected.
it is. People like to belong, they like to feel connected, and
Yeah,
I have to say, when I was on yours, I thought, oh, Darren's actually over there on the other side of London playing this right now. And it is an
yeah,
interesting, you're sharing a live moment. You're there at the same time. So I can understand it now. Like, it's different when you join in. And when I did the yoga class live yesterday, I thought, oh, there's people in their little living rooms, and there was, I don't know,
yeah.
250 people. And I thought, okay, I'm starting to get this a little bit
And
more than I used to, because,
what a time as well, because people are at home, you know,
yeah.
so they want this sort of kind of content where it's, if there's the opportunity to see our faces and to see our reactions, then
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I was never on board with it first because I can be a bit camera shy. I'm not
yeah,
shy of talking and having a conversation, but
yes,
you know, I've always been a bit camera shy, to be honest.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's a whole other world, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
I forget sometimes because you work on your own when you're doing stuff, and then you upload it to YouTube. I forget. It's almost like I sometimes forget that I am on a platform that's being seen around the world because I'm just at home by myself. You
yeah,
forget like that you are actually on the biggest search engine that's owned by this, you're on the second
Mhm.
biggest search engine, YouTube, that's owned by the first biggest search engine, Google, and you forget
Yes,
this is, people watch stuff. They do.
yeah,
They like to look, and they like to learn, and they like to get relief, and
yeah,
that's a wonderful thing. So
yeah, yeah.
wow, so exciting. I love, love, love these conversations. They're my absolute favorite. Connecting with creative people around the world is so, like you say, doing what you love and getting up and doing it every day, and you don't go, oh God, I gotta go and do that again.
Feeds you.
Like, I don't feel that ever. I just go, okay,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
feeds you. It feeds your soul. Yeah,
yeah, it is so good to do something meaningful for you, whatever that is,
yeah, yeah,
whatever that is. So
yeah.
I'm thrilled that you came to talk about this, because it's so exciting to be, and also it's so exciting to not have the belief creative people don't make money, because a lot of creative people have that belief, as you and I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, you
Like, you
have
can
to.
make money creatively, you can,
Oh, absolutely, a living and a good living.
and a good living, and you don't have to be a starving artist. You
Yeah,
can, you know,
absolutely. I mean, this is because you know the old school thought: go and get a real job. Uh,
yeah, that's it.
yeah, I mean, I've heard all of that before, but you know, in that space, in doing that, are you happy? You know, or
Yeah.
what you want to be doing? So, a
Mm,
combination of YouTube, Insight Timer, my
yeah.
website, the work that I get, it's keeping me happy and it's keeping me
Yeah.
fulfilled.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Yeah, I probably didn't hear that go and get a real job because my dad was a sculptor and played guitar, and my mum was really into cooking and drawing. So I was in a full house of creatives.
Oh wow, wow.
So I never heard that statement. Was like, you know, my parents were all, my dad built boats, so
Yeah.
it was a
Yeah,
full-on household of creative people.
yeah, my dad never said that go and get, but I think he was my dad has been the person that, you know, make sure you've got something lined up for you. Just make sure you, for example, get yourself educated in that area.
Yeah,
Broaden it if you can.
yeah,
Certainly don't, because you know, he's always known how powerful music can be. And I would say my family was musical. My mum used to sing a lot.
yeah,
Not so much now. But I was always around musical people.
yeah. And
That's
it shaped your whole
yeah,
life.
absolutely. You know,
Yeah, you getting
who I am.
forced at 7 really
Yeah, but even
was
before
a
that, we
blessing.
had like we had these keyboards and stuff at home. The old house we used to live at before I was 7. I've got pictures of myself banging on them, and you
Yeah,
know, but you know, these things, destiny takes its place. You know,
yeah,
takes its place. Music takes its place. There's some pictures of me in junior school conducting a school choir for the nativity play.
yeah,
You know, it's like
yeah. You just sometimes I think it's not you go looking for meaningful work; it comes looking for you.
yeah, absolutely. And you know, the opportunity to upload stuff onto, you know, YouTube and Insight Time, and to read the comments
Yeah,
is joy.
it's beautiful, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
then you say, I so know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's not
yeah,
just that I'm supposed to be doing it. It's just I want to do it. I'm drawn
yeah,
to it. I love it.
yeah,
Like you
yeah.
said, it's my passion. It's my passion.
Yeah, writing a piece of music for someone and it resonates with, or something, and it resonates with them, it resonates with the director or the people that see the thing come to life on screen, and
Yeah,
hear the comments. It's the ones that where people are being honest and truthful about what it meant to them,
yeah,
makes it all worth it. You know, whatever you got paid for it is insignificant, even if it's a lot at that
yeah,
moment, because it's not going to resonate with you in the same way as someone actually saying, you touched me,
yep,
you know. So
exactly, exactly.
yeah,
Thank you for coming and sharing your story. It's
you
lovely.
are
It is
welcome.
so lovely to hear the background of
Yes,
how things all kind of, you know, the puzzle pieces fell into place. And
it's been a pleasure.
yeah,
It's been a
it's
pleasure.
so thank you, Darren. I'm
Yeah,
going to add, for all of you watching today, I'm going to add Darren's links to everything we talked about, the Insight
yeah.
Time, where you can find him, his
Our
website.
guided meditation.
What's that?
Our guided meditation together.
Oh, I forgot. Oh my God, I'm glad you brought it up. Yes, Darren had a good idea that we do something together, and we've
Yeah,
already done it.
yeah.
And if you go down to the description, there's going to be a link. It's my audio with Darren's music, and it's a meditation. I'm not going to tell you what the topic is. You have to go and have a look. Okay. So enjoy that. Thank you for reminding me, Darren. I nearly forgot.
No, fine. That's fine. Fine.
Because we did that in the last few days from
Yeah,
different locations. So
technology.
yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
So Darren, do you have any last words for people? Anything you want to say for people that are really seeking or trying to get into the meaningful work for themselves?
Well,
Anything?
I think the biggest thing that was going on around my life at the time was what my coach said to me was, read the signs, follow the signs. You know, when people talk to you and they ask you, oh, how's so and so going, or how's that going, and you felt like it wasn't going well, or you know, you hadn't quite reached where you wanted to reach, that's what you have to look at, because that is basically how you are connecting with people. So I mean, it's not like I went away from music, but it was very clear where I needed to go and where I needed to concentrate and put my efforts and energy. So I would say just follow the signs, be true to yourself, and everything falls into place. I look at the journey that I'm on, and I was reading something this morning about some things that I wanted to happen, and they are already happening. I just get sometimes frustrated with myself because they're not happening fast enough, but I shouldn't. Because they are already happening, and I'm really thankful for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen to creative work.
Yeah.
Thank you, Darren. I'm going to say a few last words. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And I will put down below all the stuff that Darren and I talked about, links to him, the channel, his website, etc., and Insight Timer. I will also put the link for the meditation that we've done together and something else. What is it? The Dream Job Meaningful Work playlist success stories. And there's meditations in there as well. So thank you for joining us. Darren, you stay with me and we'll say bye in private. Bye, everyone. See you in the next YouTube.
Bye, everyone.
As always. Mwah!